Liberal senator crosses the aisle to the Conservatives. Mark Carney's plan for making Canada's economy one big giant economy. Okay, that's scary. And I have a funny feeling I know why Donald Trump wanted Mark Carney to win. Okay, so let's talk about it. Welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie A.B. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into today's video. So, Senator Mary Jane McCollum, yes, that's her real name. Okay, I am getting this from Northern Perspective. They posted it 7 hours ago, which, guys, you are grinding. 7 hours ago? When was that? It's 9 a.m. It says, appointed in 2017, Senator McCollum has been a strong voice in the Senate on Indigenous rights and reconciliation and social equity. As a proud member of the Cree Nation and Barrowlands First Nation and one of Canadians' first Indigenous women dentists, she has spent decades advocating for improved health, education, and opportunity in undeserved communities in Manitoba. And this woman crossed the aisle to Conservatives. I wonder why. I genuinely do wonder why. Because Pierre was on there yesterday being like, yeah, we're not going to make everyone happy when we do these pipelines. And he's right. People won't be happy. And that includes Indigenous people. And here's the thing, is that there are some Indigenous communities who very much benefit from it and some Indigenous communities who very much oppose it. I would have not known that if it wasn't for TikTok, because they still control the Indigenous voices in Canada. That has not stopped. And whether that be through means of funding or I just don't understand, because like I've said before, how is it okay to exploit the earth in other ways to get power just because it's in a different place? Why wouldn't it be better to do it here with having all of the input that we do from Indigenous people to be able to do these things safely? And I know that happens because I've watched alternative media, not because our media covers both sides. So, anyways, with this talk of Canada becoming one economy, and I'm going to put that to the side for now, and also the inconsistency when it comes to Carney, because here's the thing, I wouldn't put it past Carney to continue with the pipeline because he would probably ultimately benefit from it if Brookfield is the one doing the pipeline. Okay, he'd also look like a hero, so I wouldn't have put it past him, but I think he's moving in the direction as to where America is going to be the gas-powered superpower and we're going to be green. Now, here's the thing. What they consider green has changed over time. I went from being brainwashed that nuclear was awful to now them saying it's one of the more cleaner things. And there's a lot of other ways. And it was a big reason why I moved to Northern Ontario, because we have all of these minerals we could be exporting, but we don't. And we basically, I'm finding out that Canada was basically built on mine towns over every province, which is crazy to me. I didn't even know that. And that's the thing, is that I feel as though Northern Ontario has mines, and I know about, that's it, actually. I didn't even know there was mines in other places. I didn't, because I'm watching these cobalt documentaries about a town near me that used to be bigger than Toronto, and seeing why it's not now. First of all, it's destroyed. There's not a lot of ways to set up safely in cobalt, in my opinion. But number two, there is a ton of red tape. So businesses haven't had it here. But that's the thing, is we have places that are filled with cobalt that we could be exporting, and we don't, because there's so much red tape. And the whole point of the carbon tax is so that we choose green options. But then when they put carbon tax and red tape on every green option as well, we're left with absolutely nothing. So it wouldn't surprise me that Mark Carney would come in, allow these green projects to go through so that America remains the oil and gas-powered superpower of the world, okay? And we become some green version. Don't kid yourselves. There's no green version. Everything what would have made sense to me, even when I was on the left, was if we used all of these things more. And like I've said before, my husband when I first started dating my husband, he was working at a job in building the first ever Canadian-made wind turbines. And why did he lose that job a year after Justin Trudeau was in office if their plan was to go green? I'm just saying. And the irony of that is thick. We had just bought our house. Like, my husband had just bought the house a year before. We finally get to move in, loses his job. Can't make it up. Anyways. And I also think, by the way, that this whole Canada becoming one economy, becoming one, is giving digital banking. It's giving digital banking, guys. Okay? And the more that they talk about these, and here's the thing, is that America is turning into a technocracy as well. And we don't want that. We want to be able to use cash. We don't want the government to be able to track us with every single thing we do. Okay, they already have most data from our phones. They already can fly over, as you'll hear in my other video about the Freedom Convoy, about the protests. They have the ability and the machinery to drive over a certain place that people are protesting and collect all their data from their phones. Okay? Our government is capable of a lot already. And the last thing we need is them being able to control us taking out cash. The last thing that we need is our government stopping us from, and you know what? The only way that the left will realize how serious this is going to be when it comes to digital banking is when they go to travel and they can only travel once a year or twice a year. Or when they go to buy, I don't know, weed, and they're told, hey, you've used too much of your carbon footprint this week. You're not allowed to buy that. Or you go to buy clothes for your kids and they're like, hey, you've bought too many clothes for your kids this year. You're taking up too much of the footprint while these people are driving their private jets above us. I know it sounds far-fetched from the whole just saying Canada will become one economy, but I have read where they want to take this. And you know what scares me is that Trump also has been talking about things like freedom cities with these big tech agents. I think that they'll probably not be freedom cities. I think they'll be our version of smart cities. And you know how I know that this is some sort of conversation? Because my first ever TikTok was talking about how, I believe I've told you guys this, how I was stolen from. I got a new credit card. I took that credit card 3 hours away from me. And when I called, they were like, well, you never applied to go here. And I was like, applied? I could understand if you're saying that for America. But even then, wouldn't it just be me letting you know that I was going to America? I wouldn't have to apply to go. That's very strange. That's very 15-minute, smart town. I don't want to get, flagged. But it's giving 15-minute city. And I went viral. That was my second video I had ever made on my account. And I went viral. And that a week later, the CBC puts out an article, and it probably went to my head. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This went to my head a bit. And it said, conspiracy theorists online talking about 15-minute city. You can literally go on, and that was in 2023. You can now go on some municipality websites and find their plans for the 15-minute city. And people say, well, what's the problem with that? Well, I live in a 15-minute area right now, okay? We can get everything and doctors, everything within a 5-minute radius, okay? Because we live in 1,000-person town. We don't have 1 million of us shoved into a tiny little 15-minute space. It's giving China, okay? It's giving we're going to be living in coffin pods, okay? And you're not allowed out if you break the rules or talk badly about the government, okay? I agree with Frank Vaughan when he says that provinces need to focus on maintaining autonomy through this time. it doesn't mean that we can't trade with other provinces. I don't know why that was ever a thing, because all of these people claim to be environmentalists, but it doesn't really make any sense when we don't have all of the things that are made in Canada sold in Canada. Okay? Okay. I didn't see those Cape Cod chips from Nova Scotia until I went to Nova Scotia. Now they're here a little bit, but I craved them for so long, and we could not find them here in Southern Ontario. Now Northern Ontario I can find them, but in Southern Ontario I could not. And I just want to know why the NDP wouldn't side with the Conservatives for the Liberals to put out a budget. Hello, we need a budget. North Korea has a budget. Okay, don't get me started. Not having a budget. This is why I don't always talk about politics, because it genuinely drives me insane how much the lack of accountability that these Liberals have had. And like I said, the biggest thing that bothered me when Pierre didn't win, it's not the fact that we lost. It's the fact that all of this is about to happen and nobody's going to be held accountable for it. And I'm talking from 2020 till now. They have done so much destruction to Canada, and I am so lucky to live in a place where I can go to the emergency room and be out within a certain amount of time. But the thing is, too, is that I also live in a place where I would have to, like, if something was really wrong, we would have to be airlifted out, okay? And there's not a lot of crime here, knock on wood, as I say that as I was air tagged last week, and now it's just gone. By the way, I have no idea where it is. That's the update. It's gone. It was on my items list on the thing, and then it was just gone. So that's great. And I see Moose on the Loose covering Minister raises concerns over BC ferry deal with Chinese shipyard. Yeah, you guys, I hope that the news starts covering how much we give. Like, when I found out the 407 was India, oh my God. Like, the money that I was paying was going to India? Sorry, what? Sorry, what? Why? And honestly, a part of me is worried that all of this is going to turn into more of an oligarchy, because, like, we have no... And then when they shut down all of the businesses, you know, I'm afraid it is going to create more of an oligarchy, and Brookfield's going to own even more and more. I don't know. Because, you know, we need businesses here. We need businesses here. That's how it works. But we need, like, a lot of different businesses here. We need more options. Okay? Why... When I learned that other places have more than one option for their hydro, I'm like, what? More than 2 options for their phones? What? And I want to know, in each province, like, how many options do you guys have for your internet, for your phones, and all of those different things? I want to know. So anyways, guys, yeah. Tell me, you guys, are you thinking what I'm thinking when Mark Carney, every time he says that he wants to make Canada into one big economy, do you guys automatically go, I think to one big economy and then becoming the 51st state even? Like, that's what that sounds like to me. That's what I would turn that into if I was the Conservatives. But it doesn't make sense. We do not need to be one big economy. We can be 13 economies and come together as one and have, anyways. I don't want to be right about the technocracy thing, but sometimes the way that and who Trump has worked with, and you know what? I don't always trust Elon Musk, obviously, but he was against open AI and stuff, like, and he was like, this is going to be dangerous if we don't regulate this, blah, 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 blah. And he probably wasn't wrong, but Trump's actively working with a guy who Elon was like, no, we can't have it. And this guy's like, yes, we should have it. So I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. I think Elon, I don't know. I think this is it all a show when we're just the audience? I don't know at this point. Let me know what you guys think. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Okay? And I I have planted so much in the garden. I want to do a Q&A. So if you have a question, throw it in the comments and I'll answer it while doing a garden tour. I kind of want to do like a Q&A, introduce myself to YouTube. I don't know. Not a lot of people know my story or anything, but if you do, if you're new here, if you're watching my videos, thank you guys so much. And don't forget to share. Sorry, I just see all of these mail things coming in, but don't forget to share, like, comment. It really helps me get my video out there. But thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys tomorrow.